Technology has made our lives easier in so many ways. And honestly, there are plenty of things where I don't really want to go back. I like using AI. I rely on GPS. My phone reminds me of all kinds of appointments and dates that I need to remember. These tools can be incredibly helpful. But what I've started wondering, though, is whether we've crossed a line from using technology as a tool to depending on it to do all of our thinking for us. That's especially troublesome when I start thinking about younger generations. If AI writes all of your papers and plans your trips and solves every problem that you have, are you capable of building the skills that you need to use later in life to survive, to sustain? Then there are all these little things that we've outsourced. We don't remember phone numbers anymore or birthdays because Facebook reminds us of them or a calendar app reminds us. They just do it for us. Individually, those really aren't a big deal, but together they make me wonder what we're actually giving up. Because again, to me, technology should be a tool that makes us better, not a trade-off that replaces the parts of being human that help us grow into productive members of our own society.
When I think about the convenience, I don't see it as a bad thing. Every generation has tried to make life a little easier. We've always invented things to save time and reduce work. That's part of progress. But here's what I keep coming back to. If all these conveniences are supposed to give us more time, why does it feel like none of us have any? We have apps and automation and technology doing things that used to take hours. And yet, everyone seems busier and more stressed than ever. So, where did all this saved time go? That's a question I want to explore.
Yeah, I think Mom's question is exactly the right one. Convenience is supposed to save us time. That's the whole point. I don't think AI, automation, or technology are the sole problems. The real question is what we're doing with the time they give back. If an app saves you an hour, do you spend it learning something, being with family, or doing something meaningful? You just fill it with more scrolling or more work. Technology gives us options, but it doesn't make those choices for us. I think convenience can be a good thing, as long as we're intentional about what we're doing with the life it helps us create. Welcome to Two Millennials and Mom.
I'm Callie.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Mom.
I think that we're certainly on to something. I mean, I think in so many ways, modern technology has eliminated so many daily inconveniences. I was talking to a
I'm
girl
really
at work.
thankful that I don't have to churn butter.
I was talking to a girl at work today about ordering from Starbucks. She was trying this drink, and when she got there, she had ordered it online on the app, and when she got there, it wasn't ready. And so she was like, yeah, and she was like, no big deal. And they were like, well, what are you waiting for? And she's like, oh, I'm waiting for my drink. My name is this. And they were like, well, everything's here. What did you order? And she was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to say all of this to you. It's 27 steps with all of these different things. Like, that's why I ordered it on the app.
Maybe you should simplify your order a little bit then.
But
It's
that's
coffee.
not how she likes it. There's nothing wrong with liking it a specific way. And I think that, to be totally fair, I think that Starbucks is a little to blame
makes
here.
You uncomfortable saying it out loud.
It's just a lot to remember. But Starbucks has given
pull
us
up the app
so
and read
many
it.
different options and variations of what it is that you can order. And it just kind of cracked me up. I was like, oh man, this is what we're turning into. It can't just be I'd like to have a coffee, please. It has to be.
It totally can.
I mean, I guess it can. Don't try and make her feel bad. There's no reason
I'm not
for
trying
that.
to make her feel bad.
I mean, that he has a good point in that we've, we just kind of had so much that it's nothing simple anymore. I mean, it's not just, it used to be black coffee or do you want sugar and cream? Now it's, do you want soy or whole or do you want
Which of the
froth?
47 milks would you like?
Yeah.
How many pumps of this or pumps of that or room for this or Cold foam.
Yeah.
And I get it. Those drinks are tasty. Awesome. But if you're uncomfortable ordering it, don't order it.
In person.
Whatever. Whatever.
Not only that, can you imagine getting a 27-page coffee order?
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
But I think that that's kind of the point that I'm trying to make here. I think that by using technology, using the app on Starbucks, we have kind of given up the patience of saying, okay, this is what I want, and listing it all out.
yeah.
We've given up that resilience to say, oh, shoot, I totally got it wrong. I mean, y'all, I remember like weird things, and I have weird analogies in my brain that I'm constantly applying to things so I don't forget all of this, you know? Um, when we have these, I mean, I guess to some extent they're coping mechanisms, like memory mechanisms to say, okay, these are the colors of the rainbow in the right order, you know, or these are the planets in the solar system, or this is the alphabet. I mean, at what point do elementary school children start, well, I don't need to know the alphabet because ChatGPT will tell me what it is. I don't need to know the order. That's terrifying.
I mean, does the order of the alphabet really matter?
I mean, if you're using it in a presentation where it's all listed in order, I mean, if the order of the alphabet doesn't matter, then does the order of numbers matter?
I mean, because they're in sequential order and like 2 is double 1, 3 is triple 1, 4 is quadruple 1. Like that makes sense. But using letters as numbers, D could be the third point.
Okay, we've tangent it off. Bring this back in. Let's talk about
No,
convenience.
I get what you're saying, but being able to read is probably more important than making sure the alphabet is in the order that someone else thinks it should be in. Like, do you know what sound the letter D makes? Do you know how it's used is more important than it being in the fourth position of the list.
But if you don't have them in the order, can you learn them successfully?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what
I
I was
forgot about
thinking.
this one, or I forgot about that one. I don't know what D sounds like because I just forgot about D altogether.
Then you can't read what ChatGPT is telling you anything anyways.
I mean, I don't disagree, but don't you think that's kind of where we're headed? We're outsourcing all of this thinking because chat's going to do it for us. I don't need the order of the alphabet. I don't need to be able to read.
But don't you still need to query ChatGPT?
Yeah, you have to be able to ask it the question. You
I-
have to be able to formulate the words. You have to be able to, in most cases, write it down.
There are plenty
Although
of,
I will say, you could just, I mean, with the way we are, I mean, Callie, you could probably go and ask your car when my birthday is and it would know. Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, there are plenty of people who know how to speak but don't know how to read.
Sure.
Adults. And if that's already happening as prevalently as it is now, what's going to happen? What's the world going to look like in 10 years?
I don't think that's the fault of AI or social media, people not being able to read.
I'm not blaming AI or social media for them not being able to read, but I do think that if we continue to rely on AI and social media as heavily as we do, I'm nervous about what the outcome becomes.
I can understand that sentiment for sure. I think we're talking about a symptom for a different problem. Personally.
Fair enough.
Well, let's go back and talk about what convenience is. What counts as convenience? I mean, does your phone?
Less work.
Absolutely, your phone counts as convenience.
Do you think it does for your dad?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or is it more
Maybe less so than me because I'm more adept with the tool and all of the tools within the tool.
Yeah.
Because I used them more frequently, but there is certainly convenience. So I called him on the phone this morning when it started raining, when I was standing on the edge of a pond and he was on the water with his friend, just to see, hey, is it raining where you are? Without a phone, I'd had to wait until I got here tonight to ask him, "Did y'all get wet?
I was
Did you catch
just
anything?"
I was just sitting here wondering, can you imagine dad having to plan his fishing roster and communicate that via the Pony Express, via snail mail?
But I mean, here's the thing. If he didn't have the phone, he would be meeting up with those people more frequently than he already does. He'd be having breakfast with them more than Saturday mornings. He would
Maybe.
be going to a communal place because he's a communal person.
Do you think that every generation has sought convenience?
Yes.
Yes.
Mom, what's your generation seek inconvenience?
Oh God. For me, it's probably books online because I can carry it wherever I want to go. I don't have to have it. I don't have to have a library even anymore. So I don't need that space. I mean, it's all in the palm of my hand.
When was it?
I have,
1990, like the early 1990s, mid 1990s, when Jeff Bezos said, "Hey, let's start selling books online." That was the original Amazon, and everybody was like, ridiculous.
yeah.
Nobody's going to buy books online.
And now look at them.
Yeah.
I mean, and granted, it took a little bit of time to get used to reading a book like that. And I would say that I definitely stalled in trying, adapting to do that. But man, I, I can read in bed under the covers on a Kindle. I don't have
And
to
you
have a
don't even need
light
a lamp.
on. Yeah. I don't have to have a light on. I don't have to bother anybody. And if I don't like that book, I can change to a different book and do something else.
I used to
If I,
be solely a physical book reader, and now I almost exclusively listen to them.
yeah,
I like my Kindle because I can read in the pool and not
yeah,
worry about it getting wet and all of the pages sticking together and melting
yeah.
off.
I mean, you think about it, my grandmother, the big deal there probably was a dishwasher, an electronic book,
Refrigeration.
refrigeration. I mean, or
Salt.
a clothes dryer instead of having to hang everything up on the line. So,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I think
even
that
think
one is
about
convenient, but I think it does a worse job.
in some cases, you're
Sometimes
absolutely
there's a
right.
trade-off in the quality of the work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the harder it is on your clothes.
yeah. But I mean, think about a microwave too. I mean, I remember us getting the first microwave we ever had. But there's a trade-off there. The food doesn't taste the same when you nuke it as it does if you're going to cook it.
How old were
Now look,
you when you got
oh
that microwave? Ballpark.
gosh, I'm going to say late elementary school, probably.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom a home without a microwave.
I
I
mean,
can't either, and I barely even use mine.
Yeah,
I started to
exactly.
say, I don't think we use them the same way anymore. It's defrosting and heating your coffee up, baby. But I mean, even think about that.
Don't do
Now
either of
then
those
we
two
have
things.
we have little discs that we can set our coffee on our computers, that'll plug into our computer to keep our coffee warm. We don't even have to freshen it up off of a carafe. We have a little disc right there that'll keep it warm all day. I
Yeah.
might need one of those.
I mean, I'm also thinking about the books that we used to have, the big, huge leather-bound books that we used to have, encyclopedias. That
Oh
now,
gosh.
I mean, you had to know how to use it, know how to look something up, and know how to get to whatever page you needed to be, and know how to pick which book it was that you could find your query in.
But even think about that. There were door-to-door salesmen who came to your home to sell you, Britannicas.
Oh,
And
yeah.
now they
Who was
just
I?
email you.
And we
Well,
just Google it. We don't need
and we block them and then
encyclopedias.
go Google it or Chat GPT it. But I mean, there's a lost industry right there because of convenience. And I don't remember who I was talking to the other day, but they were cleaning out their parents' attic and they found 3 sets of encyclopedias. They were literally throwing them down the attic stairway to get rid of them, because why are you going to save encyclopedias that have to be at least 30 years old? They're not
Well, I
even
mean, I think
current
it would be
information.
personally, I think it would be interesting to compare. Like, hey, what did we know 30 years ago compared to what do we know today?
I was just thinking the same thing. I would be
No,
so curious.
I don't think everybody else is going to feel that way, but I certainly think there's a subset of the population who would have
Sure.
a similar feeling. Thank you, Callie.
I don't know. I'm also thinking we were talking about your grandparents farming and
Mm.
irrigation and how the
Yeah.
changes that have taken place between even since you were a kid.
When I was a kid and my grandfather was farming to irrigate the field, he took a tractor and he cut a big ditch across that field, and they had to have pumps out that sat in the field. They've loaded that ditch full of water from that pump. And then they were probably 4-foot long tubes. Some of them were little and some of them were big. And I mean, the deal with me as a kid is you pushed it down in the water and you pumped it with your hand to get it to kind of suck the water up. And then you threw it over and the water would run down they would set it. So, it's going to take 2 hours on this field for the water to run from this end to that end. And then they would go and they'd take all of those pipes up and they'd move them down to the next set of rows, and they'd go through the whole thing again, do the whole thing again. Now then they have those circular irrigations, and nobody gets out in the field to do that anymore. Those pipes are, I'm sure, as much fun as they were for me to try to do it, because my grandfather was really good. He could do it in about a pump and a half, even the big ones. And we would sit there and work and work and work and work, trying to get up enough pressure to make them run. Nobody does that.
I mean, again, I think that goes to show that conveniences are replacing physical labor, but there's more to it than that. There's, shoot, when is my mom's birthday again? I don't know. I do know when your birthday is, just FYI. I mean, hey, I don't know how to talk to this person. Let me just ask chat really quick so that it can tell me. I don't have to consciously think through and stumble how to have human interactions. I need
You know,
a
and
So let's have non-human ones, because
yeah,
that makes so much
I need a
sense.
computer. Right.
I think part of that is good until that's all you're doing and you no longer are engaging your brain to have a conversation, even a tough conversation or a fun conversation.
Yeah.
We've lost something if we're not engaging our brains. And how much are we giving up of those things because we have some kind of device that will take care of it, that'll remember birthdays?
That will remember directions and where somebody lives. And I don't need to know how to get to their house because my Waze will. It's in my recent places.
Yeah.
Everybody makes fun of me for my mind map. I'm actively like plotting points and data points in my brain so that I can, okay, this is where I am and this is how I get out of here and this is how I get to here. Because if for whatever reason something happens to my phone, I would like to be able to go places. And so, I mean, I think that we've outsourced all of that documentation.
I think that's a very interesting way of putting it.
I think that God, y'all, I think that we've gotten lazy in so many ways I don't know how to spell that word. So, and I don't need to know because autocorrect is going to fix it for me.
So we don't have to read and we don't have to spell.
Don't have to do
Technically,
math. All the calculators are there.
Yeah. And we don't have to write.
We don't have to
I mean,
remember.
there's a risk there with all this convenience.
You do have to remember. You just have to remember different things. You have to remember processes still.
For example,
in order to start my car, I have to turn the key or push the button.
I
In
need
order
help.
to get the answer, I have to be able to formulate a thought to know the question. I have to be able to ask the question.
So I'm going to go back to the cars because my last 2 cars don't have on-off switches at all. And so I got in mom's car the other day.
The
Yeah, fine.
outliers.
I don't Cole, it's the last 2 vehicles that I've had. And so I got in mom's the other day
Outliers.
and I walked away with it running. I didn't make it very far, but I had to consciously say, oh, shoot, I have to turn this car off. And we have this running joke. When I get in her car, I have to brake for myself. It doesn't brake for me. And I know that that's me being totally and completely spoiled. I know that, but it's convenient.
But even at that, half of your car is handled through your phone, through an app. You don't even have to be wise enough to look at your tire pressure because your car is going to tell you,
Oh, yeah.
hey, your tire pressure's off. Your car gives you the lyrics to songs.
Yeah.
I think you're right, Cole. And
We
you
do have
say
to
if you
remember
want to
different
ask a
things.
question, but what happens when we just stop asking questions? Because
I go back to Wally. This
Yeah.
is what I want to eat, and this is what I want to entertain myself. What
Yeah.
more is there? I don't need anything else.
I mean, it's hyperbole, and this is one that we've talked about recently. So is the movie Idiocracy. They're hyperbole, but they're great examples of the fear driven by this type of technological and societal advancement. Sure.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we have GPS, so we don't have to know where to go. We just have to be able to dial it in.
Sure, but that opens up your opportunities to so many more places that you can go.
That's true. Mm-hmm.
So there's certainly a trade-off.
Yeah.
But I mean, I could get in my car right now and I can get just about anywhere in the DFW Metroplex without my phone. Do I still use my phone to get there oftentimes? Yes, because I want to know, hey, what's the traffic on these different available routes?
I started to say, I think it may have allowed us to expand our area
Definitely.
instead of just being a tight little neighborhood that you stay in because you do have that GPS because it's so easy. You can go anywhere. You don't have to worry
Not
about
only
it.
does it expand the area, it expands the available places for you to explore within that small
Your
community
horizons
area.
as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how come we don't have any free time?
Because we fill it with shit.
I mean,
Sometimes, not always, but sometimes.
are we? I don't know. Sometimes it feels like we're just replacing it with something else. We're not even paying attention to the convenience anymore. We're just going on to another thing, to another thing, to another thing.
But that's the point. You're
That's the
saving time on this
spoilage of
thing so you
convenience.
have opportunity to. Now, are we using all of that saved time on productive things? Not necessarily. Some people are using some of it on productive things. I mean, think about the recent increase in physical fitness across the United States. How many people now have more time to go to the gym because they have the convenience? They can run the dishwasher. They can put something in the microwave. They don't have to spend all day taking care of household chores. They've automated so much of that you have time to read a book. You have time to go to the gym. You have time to walk your dogs or go fishing. When historically, you went fishing because you needed something to eat. That was work. It wasn't a hobby.
Yeah.
You read something because you needed to know about something. For the vast majority of people.
So that brings me a question. Because of the quantity of things that we have to read, do you think we're not really investing in some of the important things to read? Like, and here's my thought. If you look at the founding fathers and they could name a book, then there were lots of other people who knew what that book was about because they'd studied it and because it
Because there were only 10 books.
Right.
Because there were only 10. So
It's
now
a
then,
drastic exaggeration, even for 1775. I know, but
yeah, we were letting you
still,
get by with it.
think about how many books have been published since then.
I mean,
So how many
millions and
books have been
millions.
The
published
vast
this
majority
year?
of books ever published.
Yeah.
So I my point there is, if we're not concentrating on content, and or we have such a variety of content, are we not really delving into it and really studying and understanding? Or do we just have
Even
such a flow of things that none of it's really sticking?
I think that's a bit of an overgeneralization because, I mean, if you're talking about the founding fathers, yes, most of them were fairly well educated relative to the rest of the population at the time. I mean, what was the literacy rate in the 1700s? It wasn't very high.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let me ask ChatGPT.
I mean, and that's a great resource to have in a scenario like this. But if you've got a group of wealthy, educated men who've all had similar educations, yeah, they're probably going to understand each other's references. But just because I don't know Plato doesn't mean that I don't understand the basic mechanics of philosophy. Could I know them better by studying Plato? Sure. But if that's not something that interests me, is that something that should automatically be held against me?
No, you just need to read The Dummy's Guide to Plato.
I made a joke about Cliff Notes this week, and somebody was like, kids don't use Cliff Notes anymore. They use AI to cheat on their homework.
I mean, that's
Not
probably
wrong.
true.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get all of that information off the internet. Why go to Cliff Notes?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we thought we were so slick growing up in middle school and high school when they're like, hey, we're going to read X book. And we're like, I'm going to go watch the movie. I'm going to go rent it at Blockbuster and watch that movie.
And how long did it take you to figure out that the movie is different than the book?
At that age, we weren't that smart. It took our teacher going, oh, so you watched the movie. Oh, shit. She knows. She got me.
Okay. So we've had a conversation that Gen Zs don't cook anymore because they only cook what they see on TikTok, and however that's shown on TikTok.
They don't cook, they prepare. They follow the directions. Because there's a difference. And you can make that face at me, Cole, but there is a difference between saying, hey, put 12 ounces of pasta in the water and then do this and this and this and then follow these step-by-step tutorials. That does not mean that they know how to make pasta.
How is that any different from reading it off of a note card?
I think that there's a lot more trial and error that took place before.
Sure. And you can still do trial and error, again, if it's something that you're passionate about. But not everyone is passionate about cooking, nor do they have to be.
Sure.
Well, Cole, I think, though, too, you have to think, if you're following a reel and they're saying, pour this in, you're not looking at a recipe card and thinking, do they mean, am I supposed to cut this up? Or, I mean, I picked up
So the instructions are more clear?
Fold in the cheese.
Yeah.
What does fold in the cheese mean?
I think
You
it's
just
more
fold it in.
visual. So they're not even asking, what does that mean? They're just doing what they see.
I didn't know that that's what folding in the cheese looked like. Now I know.
Yeah.
Great. That sounds like an advantage to me.
Tell that to Moira.
How many people do you know who can work on their own cars these days?
A lot.
You do?
Yes.
I don't know anybody who works on their own car.
I put mud flaps on mine this weekend.
That's not quite working on your car.
What
now
is
you're
it
being
then?
judgy.
Changing the oil, fixing it when
Mine doesn't have oil. Why do I need to know how to do that?
you're such a brat.
I'm for real.
How many times have I come over here and called Dad ahead of time and said, hey, I ordered this part because I need a replacement. I needed to replace the thermostat. I needed to replace the radiator. I'm not even a car guy, and I can do that.
I think you are an outlier.
I think that I am probably worse at it than a lot of the people I know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm with Mom. I think you're an outlier here. But I think that I think that the game has changed in lots of
What do you
ways.
mean?
I don't have to know how to change oil because I don't need to change oil. But I do need to know
Sure.
how computer programs work in order for my car to work.
I mean, and so that I can go to work and make enough money to pay someone to change my oil.
Yeah.
And at the same time, with YouTube, I could probably take that van apart and put it back together
Oh, yeah.
I
if I
was kind of
wanted
thinking about
to.
that. Yeah.
But I think in some ways, the number of people who are putting out content on YouTube to say, hey, this is how you change a thermostat on a whatever year, whatever model vehicle, I think is becoming less because the demand for that type of content is becoming less. And I don't
I
think that
don't
that's a
think
bad
so.
thing. I know so, based on just data and analytics alone.
I'm thinking about sewing. I mean, I grew up, with my mom teaching me to sew.
Mhm.
And I mean, I was thinking about it last night because I was working on your skirt for you last night, which was a simple
Yeah.
repair. But I remember sitting there thinking, did I not teach her how to sew? Does
No,
she
no, no, no,
know?
no, no, no. No, 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 no. I know how to do this.
But
You
I had that,
offered.
I did, but I had that thought in my mind.
How very convenient.
It was.
I repeat, she might be spoiled. I mean, Callie, your car parks itself in the garage.
Just a skosh. Same.
Your
Same.
car drove to you the other day.
That's true. And you want to know who didn't whack themselves and scratch their body on something because they parked too close to the side of the garage? This spoiled girl didn't.
That's true. Fewer bruises. I'm just saying. I mean, we talked about, in fact, I was with a group of women this week and they talked about their dad when they went on a trip, gave them the map and they had to figure out how to get the directions. He would say, we're leaving here and we're going there. And they would sit in the back seat and they figured out how to read a map. People today don't read maps. People today don't even have maps. They have GPS.
They have the most advanced maps ever recorded in human history
They do not have the kind that
that they
fold up.
use every day. Oh my! So it's more convenient. So it's inherently worse.
Right. That's a crock if I've ever heard one.
Just because I don't have to work as hard at something doesn't mean that the version I'm using is inherently worse.
Inferior. Right.
Okay. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean, here's the thing. I use GPS a lot, but I know how to read a map because I use it for things other than just navigation. Hey, where is this thing at? What is around it? And I've got one little screen this big and I can see 47 different versions of the same area. Do I want to see a topographic map? Do I want to see a satellite map? Do I want to see a road map?
A
Do I
live
want to see a
traffic map.
thermal map? A live traffic map? And I can do that all from the same spot. I don't need 47 different
Outdated
pamphlets.
papers that are outdated by the time that they're printed.
I mean, really, let's see. I'm going to say there was one year that I got, what did they call them? They were, yeah. But you had to upgrade them every so often because the maps change so much. And now y'all would never think about having to update your GPS. It just
because
automatically
it's no longer stored on our device.
Yeah.
They're updated by the people who maintain those things.
Yeah. But you don't pay for it.
Yes, we do.
Well, no,
we
you
100%
don't.
do.
100% we do.
Why?
Technically, we're sold as an opportunity to receive that service.
Yes. We are the cost of convenience. Our data, our privacy, our information is sold at the cost of convenience.
A little bit different than what I meant, but okay, I'll go there with you.
But we're still paying for that. all of those spam calls that you get, that's paying for that.
Yeah.
And all of those weird, crazy stuff that you get in the mail that you're like, I'm never going to read this. They send me so much junk mail. You're paying for that.
Yeah.
And it's still working because they're still spending money on it to do it, to serve
Yeah.
all of that to you.
Yeah.
We are
What
the
other
cost of
things do y'all
convenience.
think have gone by the wayside?
Patience.
That's probably one of the really big ones.
Which is kind of crazy when you're talking about this is supposed to save you time and energy.
Well,
It
because you get
does.
acclimated to everything being instantaneous. And when it's
Mm-hmm.
not instantaneous, when it has been the last 5 times, well, why? Why isn't this perfect?
You want me to pay for 5 to 7 business day shipping? Absolutely not. I can get it free on Prime in 2 days or tomorrow. Our patience has completely gone out the window.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I think
mean,
that's one of the really big ones.
yeah. And I think that you can see it in the cost of living.
What do you
I
mean?
mean, I'm just thinking about, well, I don't want to have to mow my yard, so I'm going to pay somebody to mow my yard. And I don't want to have to plan a meal or a menu for the week, so I'm just going to pay a service for that. I mean, like all of these things, they add up and they stack up. And then we sit here and look at each other and go, oh my gosh, I'm broke. I don't have any money. I can't go do all of these things that I want to do because I'm broke. Because we've nickeled and dimed ourselves to death by outsourcing all of these tasks that we've just decided we don't want to do.
And
Wow.
I think that's one of the big issues here is all of this time that you're saving, what are you using it for?
Yes.
Are you sharpening your skills in other areas?
Or are you
generating
doom
something
scrolling
purposeful,
TikTok?
meaningful? I mean, I'm not saying, hey, don't have hobbies. Don't do things that are meaningless in your spare time. Because I'm a huge proponent of doing things just for the sake of them being entertaining or being fun. But I also understand that I can't do just that.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm a big proponent of failure as an excellent teacher. And so I think that no
Great.
matter what it is that you're talking about, when you're not actively failing because it's just happening. I mean, you guys, I have for sure, without a doubt, done a horrible job at cutting my own yard. And then I was like, well, now all my neighbors think I'm a moron. How do I do this better? How do I do this where it doesn't take so long? So I'm sitting out here in 117-degree heat, dying.
So
And
does
so-
that mean you get on YouTube and
So you
figure
get a
it out,
robot.
or you go get a robot to?
It
I
could be
think
either
it could
one.
mean either one. Yeah.
So
I
now
think it
you're not
could.
outside and you're not sweating and you're not exercising and you're not taking care of your own home. You've delegated that off to something else.
Which is my point.
Sure. But with the time that you're not spending doing that, what are you doing? Because that's really important in this
Yeah.
equation. Because if the answer is, hey, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to bust my ass in the gym to keep my body physically fit, or I'm going to go inside and I'm going to read something important that gives me a better perspective about something, or I'm going to go inside and I'm going to write some beautiful, eloquent poetry, whatever it may be, if it's meaningful to you, then I think that's a positive trade-off. If it's, I'm going to go inside and scroll on TikTok, and there are scenarios where that can be beneficial. If your TikTok algorithm is, hey, this is how you do X better, this is how you do Y better, this is how you do Z better, some of that is useful.
Mhm.
But if it's just mindless reel scrolling, probably not all that beneficial to you. But if it's, hey, I work 80 hours a week, I don't have time to go mow my yard, so I'm going to pay some guy to do it, or I'm going to buy a robot to do it because I'm working 80 hours a week to provide for my family, I think that's probably a beneficial trade-off.
Okay.
I'm not saying that's what everyone's doing, but I'm saying that there is an opportunity for that convenience to be positive. We just have to use it that way.
And I think that that's why I get so hung up on young people. We know well enough to know that there is a dangerous side of this. There are side effects to
Slippery slope.
Yes, a slippery slope. That's exactly the phrase I was looking for, that it is a slippery slope. And when you're 19, 22, 24 years old, and we've talked about it before, your brain, especially as a male, isn't fully developed until 26. Like,
roughly.
when you're outsourcing all of these things, what are you filling your mind with? What is your mind absorbing and taking on in those impressionable years and times? How is this going to serve you when you're 45? Are you going to make it to 45, or have you completely thrown caution to the wind and you're buried in your phone the whole time and don't realize that there's a scary man in the alley who's getting ready to rob you at gunpoint?
Yeah,
Well, that
presence,
took a turn.
intentionality, and mindfulness alongside patience, I think, are some of the things that are most severely at risk in our current environment.
Yeah.
Paying attention is
A dying art, a
just pay
skill to
attention.
have. Yeah. Yeah. Who's around you? What do they need? Being a little more selfless, cognizant of what's going on beyond yourself,
You mean personal connection and
more than just likes on social media, maybe.
socialization? Yeah.
I mean, those are great. Don't get me wrong, but not staring at your phone while you're doing 75 miles an hour on the freeway so that you don't damn near kill everyone around you. I'd say that's pretty important.
Yep.
And that's not selflessness. That's selfish.
Yeah.
Just pay attention to what you're doing. Don't walk into people. Don't drive into people. Be mindful of the words you say and how they can impact others.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you guys think that there's such thing as too much convenience?
I certainly think there can be. I don't think there's necessarily an absolute value of too much convenience. I think you can let convenience turn into too much convenience, but I think that you can also utilize the time saved, the effort saved wisely.
I think you can too. I think that there are lots of examples of productive passivity. But at the same time, I also think that too much of a good thing is not always a good thing. And while maybe you could outsource all of your thinking to AI and all of your tasks to robots, does that really serve you well in the long run as a whole? And Cole, I think that you're right. Depending on what you do with that time saved is going to make a difference. But I think that again, it becomes a really slippery slope because you may not know that you're not being a productive human until it's too late. Shoot, I wish I had learned that before. Oh shoot, I mean, that's me. I did not pay attention in school growing up to history. And I am so incredibly hungry for history these days. And so that's what I spend my time doing. Reading and talking and thinking and researching because I didn't when I was too young and dumb to care, to know why it mattered. And so I think that here's my kind of weird thought for you really fast. What if I had paid attention in school and I didn't have to spend my adult life researching history because I'd already learned it? What else could I be doing?
Scrolling.
What else?
I mean, here's the deal. I think you'd just be getting deeper and deeper and deeper into that history. And I mean, that's one of the things that I worry about with convenience is that we're getting just touches of things, but we're not developing depth with them. Like, for example, you got enough history in school that you know about civil rights. But have we dug into those to know what they were, what
Why
that
it
individual
mattered.
felt like and why it mattered and
How it could
and
impact today's day and age.
where it came from and why it came, so you can have Wikipedia to tell you, oh, this was civil rights, or oh, this was Martin Luther King Jr., this was the Selma Bridge, but you have to go deeper than that.
Absorb it.
You have to absorb it. And granted, today, I wonder how much we do absorb because we have so much coming at us so easily.
And again, I think that goes back to intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
If you spend time, like you guys know, I try not to watch the news. I have one app on my phone and I get to the headlines for the 90% of the ones that come through. I probably get a dozen headlines a week and I may open 3 of them because that's part of the fire hose that I want to turn off because I know, or I believe so much of it is horseshit.
I started to say, I mean, even look at the news. I mean, growing up, there were 3 channels. You watch those and you watch them. Honestly, you watch them at 6 o'clock and at 10 o'clock. And today we have all day news and we have
A billion different sources,
yes. And
outlets.
so,
And some of them, even the ones that I don't trust, provide meaningful information sometimes.
sometimes.
But you have to take so much of it with a grain of salt because everybody has their own agenda that, yeah, maybe I'll see a headline from here and then I'll go and look and say, okay, who's talking about this? What are they saying? What are the different perspectives around this story so that I can comprehend better the situation at hand?
Yeah.
I know not everybody's treating it that way, but again, you have to be intentional with the information that you consume. Just because they're spraying it at you doesn't mean you have to drink it.
It's a quote. Yeah. So I think you guys are right. I think Mom really nailed it in the very beginning in the intro. I mean, if conveniences are supposed to give us more time, why does it feel like none of us have any? And I think that we have to be cognizant of relegating that time wisely.
We're filling that saved time oftentimes with nonsense.
Yeah. I don't want to end up like Wally. Well, the people of Wally.
Yeah.
Wally was kind of cute and wouldn't be that bad. He was actually doing something.
And Sophia.
Eva.
Eva. I was close.
Yeah, there's an A at the end of it.
There's not. It's Eve. EBE.
Let's try.
Okay, Mom, have you got a weird thought for us this week?
I kind of do. So Lindsey Graham died Saturday. Senator. He was 71 years old. Mitch McConnell is in rehab, a senator. He's 84. The person that would be in line should something happen to the president, who would be the third in line, is named Grassley. He's 92. And he also sits on the Judicial Committee at 92. And so the weird thought for me is that out of 530 voting members in Congress, 131 of them are 70 years old or older. Even Feinstein, the last senator to die in office, was 90. And well known that she had lost a lot of her capacity. And I'm just thinking, I know, so the general public retires generally in their mid-60s. And so we have a majority of our Congress that is way, way over that. Now, you might could stop and think that they're, this is experience, but I can tell you that I've lost capacity.
Not quite a majority. 40% of Congress is older than 65. Yeah. That's probably the largest minority.
Did I say majority? I'm sorry.
But it's a massive chunk, nearly half. It's almost a majority.
It's a chunk of people that are not young whippersnappers.
And Mom, you come in all of the time and say, I'm so tired of getting old. I can't remember what I was doing. I can't remember that word I was looking for. I was trying to say. And you're not plus 70. And so I worry about people in power who are fighting those same battles. and who are further along in that struggle.
I mean, have you seen some of these people on TV?
You mean like Biden at a
Yeah,
debate?
yeah, great example.
So, Rahm Emanuel was a former Chicago mayor, and he was a White House chief of staff. He may run in the 2028 presidential elections. And one of the things that he is wanting is a mandatory retirement at 75 for all branches, including cabinet secretaries.
Let's do 70.
Okay.
You got to start somewhere.
Let's do 70. Because we're supposed to be in a representative democracy. 18% of the United States population is older than 65. 40% of our representation is older than 65.
I
mean,
think
I think
sound logic.
yeah, I think that's great logic. But here's the other thing, and you just have to wonder, what are people doing? I mean, why are we working so long? Why are we still at 92 sitting on the judicial?
And Gen Xers and now Gen Zers have been asking this question for a decade, begging for a mandatory retirement age because they cannot progress because the companies that they work for are so top heavy with boomers.
Dang those boomers. But I just think it's a really strange thing if to look at the demographics of that. And I would support some type of congressional retirement. I mean, pilots have an age that they have to retire at. It's
even if there was just an aptitude test of some kind. Hey,
that's ageist.
Oh, maybe. But retirement isn't, you know?
It is. But here's the thing. I mean, and this is going back to the judge we talked about several months ago, who's in her 80s, 90s. I understand that maybe she's still sharp, but also maybe it's time to make room for some new blood.
Agreed.
Maybe you have to let the new people have an opportunity to build that experience before they're in their 70s.
I think that's really wise. You're not even 70.
Anyway, I just thought it was a very weird thought that we have that many people that are 70 plus and that we have people in their 90s serving.
Well, and I think that one of the things,
home.
Yeah, I think that one of the things that you kind of glossed over is Emmanuel, the mandatory retirement that he's talking about is not just for Congress. It's for all branches of the government, including cabinet secretaries. And so I think, just like Cole was saying, get out of the way so that other people can start gaining experience. I don't think that that's a bad thing. And that's not to say that you can't be a consultant and you can't come and offer and share your wisdom. But for you to be the only one up here making decisions and choices far into your end of life care, dying in office, come on.
Well, and it does make you think, how much can a person in their 70s relate to a Gen Zer or about taking care of kids and childcare and
or
owning their
understand
first home
on an in-depth level the technology that their constituency is working with?
Yeah.
What they're
I think
up
that's
against.
really valid.
I mean, Mom, I love you dearly. You're one of the smartest people I know. But when it comes to computer literacy, I struggle with you. Just because I have so much more time on a keyboard implementing some of those tools. Now, don't get me wrong. There are lots of tools on a computer that you're much better at than I am.
Now he's trying to soften me up after that.
Yep, for sure. You're a whiz.
Am I
Keep
lying?
going. No.
It's just a fact. It's reality.
Yeah.
And how much time are Congress people spending working on computers?
Oh, I don't think they are. That's why they have staff and interns to do that.
They have to hear it from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But how much of that is getting skewed in that game of telephone?
Exactly.
How much time are we wasting by not being able to read and absorb the information because it's having to go through 16 different assistants to get to you?
Yeah.
Exactly.
The efficiency is complete shit.
100 years ago, it made sense that, okay, most of our representation is doctors, lawyers, and landowners. But
Yeah.
now we need software developers in Congress. We need tech startup executives in office.
Mental
We
health
need
care
people that
professionals.
know these things, that are familiar with these things, not to take advantage of the system, but to have a working knowledge of these systems to be able to carefully regulate them.
I think that's super valid. Just to throw this in, if that's all branches of government, do you think that would be the Supreme Court too?
Is that a branch of the government?
Yes.
Then
But
So
yes.
they're going to have to rewrite, they're going to have to amend the Constitution because judicial appointments are for life.
As we
yeah,
well know, the Constitution is a living, breathing document, or was
Sure,
intended to be a living, breathing document. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with addressing the needs based on today's current situations.
I agree. I'm just going to point out to you that the people who have to make these changes are the ones who are going to be losing their jobs.
Also true, which is why every time that has been brought up thus far has
they'll
failed.
just go to a PAC or a think tank and
Make $1 million for having a 5-minute speech.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not saying I would vote for the guy, but I sure do like the idea.
Me too.
Got a good news story?
I do. So this story is kind of building off of that old adage about when one door closes, another is opened. I think that we've got to back up a little bit. So last year, the Trump administration eliminated much of the team behind NOAA. Remember, that's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, weather and such. So they eliminated much of this team behind the climate.gov website. And that website was relied upon by millions of people for understandable climate science that was effectively shut down. And while the raw government data still existed, years of educational articles and maps and easy to use resources suddenly became much harder to access. So you've got all of these people who were fired. And instead of walking away, many of these former staff members, including several remarkable women who had helped build climate.gov in the first place, decided that the information was too valuable to just chunk out the window. So they built a new window. They
Wow.
spent months rebuilding the resource outside of the government, fundraising money and campaigning to cover the cost to get all of this data that's public information back into the hands of the public. They spent months rebuilding this resource and launched it as climate.us. It is a nonprofit home for more than 15 years of climate science and educational materials and maps and public resources. And so no matter where you land politically, I think that there's something to be garnered from all of these people refusing to let decades of publicly funded information just disappear. They didn't just preserve a website, they preserved access to information for teachers and students and farmers and journalists, emergency planners, and anybody else who wanted to better understand what's going on in the world. And I was reading about these women and was floored that they, instead of getting pissed off by about losing their jobs, they went to work and built a window.
I just did a pivot.
Yeah. And I think that that's really cool. So it just launched last month, climate.us. Go check it out. I think it would be advantageous to support these folks who are trying to
how
share
sad would it
information.
be to lose all of that material?
More than sad, how detrimental would it be?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not just an emotional thing, right? It is wisdom and it is data and information that we can use to improve in the future. You know, we're talking about the cost of convenience. if we've got all of this data that we just chunk, we can't use it anymore. Why not
Yeah.
take that time saved and put it to good use?
Kudos to them.
Yeah.
Climate.us.
Yes, I'll link it in the show notes because that's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Okay. Love you guys.
Love y'all.
Love you too.